you've done this walk. I mean, we could talk for ages about it. But you've done this walk, and then you've decided, I want to live here.
Yeah.
How did you? Why? How did you come to that decision?
Well, I think it's difficult to coldly analyze all the aspects. I mentioned this in one other podcast that I hadn't been very happy about the Brexit vote, so I was immediately taken to task. So that's part of my truth. I mean, I feel myself to be European. I like the European values here. I mean, I'm still deeply in love with Wales, and I can go back there whenever I want. But I do also like to be in a country which is trying to be actively part of the European project. That was one thing in my thinking. I like to have a little bit of land. It was easier, financially easier for me in Portugal to buy a little bit
Sure.
of land, and I have that I would have been able to do in Wales. So I have a little vineyard here with 100 vines. I have a little orchard with oranges and lemons, and I mean the whole the climate is super important because it just does so much to shape the way one lives. I mean, when I was a teenager, I was very lucky. My parents sent me off 3 times to France on exchange holidays, and I
Mm.
had that whole experience of being, on the French Riviera, having lunch in the garden, sitting outside, and here in Portugal, one of my daughters and her husband, he is now, came for Christmas, and on Christmas Day, we had our Christmas meal sitting outside on the terrace. Um,
Wonderful. Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that in Wales, and I think I mentioned very, very briefly one of my postings was to Cyprus. There in Cyprus, I was in rented accommodation that had a little garden, and there were vines there, and I really loved, using the vines to cook, so making stuffed vine leaves. Well, here with the vineyard, I mean, I can do that. So fragments from your past, things you really enjoyed, can come together quite powerfully and point you in a certain direction. I think I just I love going out, picking the vines, and then cooking them up and giving them to friends. That's something that for me is sort of life enhancing.